going to make a jumper. I got to make a jumper for connect to my wattmeter to the radio. So one end has already been made up, and what you need is your crimp tool. So these are going to be crimped. This is LMR 240. Crimp on, solder, and crimp on. So you're going to need that. You're going to need a razor cutter. This doesn't have to be exactly. If it was a critical length, it would be different, but this is not going to be super critical. So I want to strip off the outer shield, the outer sheathing. Just make sure you don't cut your finger off. I've seen people do that. Even professionals I've seen cut their fingers open by accident, doing it on Heliax, which is a little bit more involved. So we're going to remove that shielding. And I'm going to take this out of the bag before I do any further. I'm going to put on the compression ring first. And before I go any further, I want to get some heat shrink tubing, which I have around here someplace. Let me find that and I'll be right back. Alright, got this heat shrink tubing. So I want to cut a small piece of that off. I'm going to cut two pieces because this one didn't have it. Cut two pieces of heat shrink tubing. Not critical the size. And I'm going to put on one. And then two. Once I get that. That's one. We'll go on here. And then two. So we'll put this on. And then I'm going to measure this down here so I know how much to strip off of this here. So I'm going to pull this back. And I'm going to cut off and cut back the center connector here, the shielding. This stupid, yeah, cut that off. And then check this out. There's a little piece of sticking up. And there it goes. And then I'm going to put the shielding over top and I'm going to cut it back. So let's get that done. Okay, so I'm going to push this on. And then you'll see the center conductor just comes even with the front. And then I'm going to cut this back now. And with it cut back because it's going to be excessive. We don't need that much shielding on here, so I'm going to pull it over, and now I'm going to trim it, and then put on the clamp and crimp it over. So let me trim this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got it all trimmed up. Let's see if you can see that. That's all trimmed up. I'll push over the ferrule. There's a few little stragglers out there, but I'll clean that up. And then I'll solder the center pin and crimp it up. Next you take your crimp tool and you'll crimp it. It's nice and crimped. And I'll just solder that. That'll be it. And then I'll heat shrink this on there. So let me just solder this up. I'm going to use this soldering iron here. I got another one, but I'm just going to make my little jury rig here. I'm going to get a little bit of flux. I'm going to heat the outside up. I don't want to heat the whole thing. I want to heat the outside of this up and then let it flow in. See, it flows in. When it heats up, it flows in. Just a trifle more. Let it flow in. just get my meter and put my meter on that. That looks good. And then we'll get, we'll heat shrink this on there now and then test it out real quick. Be right back. Look at my heat gun. All right, got my heat gun out. The other one. There we go. Nice and neat. And it's ready to rock and roll. That's it. Real simple. This connector's on here already, so I had to cut it, and then I shorten this cable. But there's my little jumper. So quick and simple. That's it. Nothing to it. Put the connector on. That's it. Catch you in the next one. Quick and simple. Making a connector.